My informative speech today is about women in the military, the past versus the present, meaning how it all started to develop, how it all changed, how it was back in the day versus how it is today. The rights military women have today were not insistent back in the day, like in the Revolutionary War, World War I, and World War II. Back in the day, the duties of a woman in the military were so different as to what they are now. Today, women continue to enlist but have greater opportunities and job options are extended. Now, they continue to grow in the Army, reaching higher level rankings. The career for women has changed in many different ways, from their job duties to their ranks. Back in the day, women were restricted. Their duties were as cooks, nurses, and seamstresses, totally different to what it is now in the present. Even though they faced some restrictions, some women dressed like heroes of the battlefield, meaning some women dressed as males when they enlisted in the army. Women were not allowed to serve in the armed forces, but aided as nurses or cooks during the Revolutionary War. Nancy Howard was one of the many women who dressed up like a male. She worked as a spy. However, she was known for holding British soldiers at gunpoint. Over 400 women secretly enlisted in the military disguised as men, according to the U.S. Army official website published March 6, 2019. LaCruz stated, during World War II, however, 35,000 women served in the Army as cooks, nurses, telephone operators, and additional work that did not involve active duty since they were not allowed in the active duties. During World War II, however, Women Army Corps was formed and was official in 1941. However, it wasn't until 2 years later that President Franklin D. Roosevelt made it official, allowing women to work as part of ground service, such as repairing radios, and nurses finally became surgical technicians, having a higher level in their career. In 1976, women were accepted in all service academies, which led to the banding of Women Army Corps in 1978, since it was no longer needed. Of all the 119 women who joined the first group of female cadets at West Point, 62 women graduated as second lieutenants in 1980. LaCruz informed in the article Then and Now how women's roles have changed in the U.S. Army. Kristen Baker was the first female to become captain of the Corps of Cadets in 1981. General Ann Dunwoody was the first to achieve the rank of 4-star general in 2008. And the most recent 200 in 2011, Patricia was the first female to become General Surgeon of the U.S. Army. According to the Military Times Police, they opened 220,000 new jobs to women in the armed forces, Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, tank drivers, and many more. In 1970s, however, maternity uniforms were finally introduced, and now all branches offer maternity uniforms for women who are pregnant while enlisted. In 1973, 42,278 people who were enlisted in active duty were women. In 2010, however, that number increased to 729,000 women were now enlisted in active duty. LaCruz stated, today, 16.9% of the Army is female, and women continue to climb ranks and reach historical levels of command, according to the article Then and Now, How Women's Roles Have Changed in the U.S. Military, published in 2019. Defense Secretary Gavin Williamson in the article Women Can Now Serve in All Roles in the Army, published October 25, 2019 by James Tansfield and Kate Ferguson. He stated, "Today women already enlisted in the Army are able to transfer into infantry roles." In the military jobs blogs, however, they mention women currently served in 91% of all Army occupations, meaning they had more variety of what they wanted to do in the Army, versus in the past they were only allowed to serve as cooks and nurses. So now they serve in professional roles like medics, such as doctors, nurses, and operating techs. They also become gunners, tank drivers, helicopter pilots, and even military police. In the article Army Wants More Female Recruiters and Women Leading Combat Units, which was published in October 9, 2008 by Matthew Cox, Vereen said, "I tell all my male recruiting non-commissioned officers you can't walk in a female's shoes, and explain the experiences of what will occur as a female in our Army." By this quote, he meant that no male would be able to understand the role in a woman's military career and how it has changed from the past to the present. The military jobs back in the day were very little. They really did not have a saying in what they wanted to do, versus now they are able to decide what they want to follow in their career in the Army. They're able to do gunnery, drive tanks, do mechanics, even become sergeants. From the past to the present, women in the military continue to enlist, progressing their careers, and they continue to make history in their military career.